Hello everyone, it's Laurie from Quick Scrap Craft. Today I have a super mega giant layout share video for you. You're going to see some cards, you're going to see some layouts. Some of them have process videos and I'll mention which ones those are, but a lot of them do not. I made so many layouts this month. I ran out of pictures actually. So hopefully my Shutterfly photo order comes today so that I can actually create some other layouts for you guys this month. So we'll start with the cards. This was based on the May sheetload of cards by Call Me Crafty Al. I did two cards, basically just, a solid white card base. I can add whatever I want on the inside. And then I used my Pink Fresh 6x8 paper pad and some random cardstock in my stash and some other, I think both of these were actually cut aparts from the Pink Fresh collection, and I bumped them up on foam dots to give them some dimension. So this was a pretty fun one. I will admit, when you look at the sketch, you're like, what? But this is actually one big piece, and then these strips just go on top. So it's not like you're cutting out a whole bunch of separate pieces. It's a lot easier than it looks. And then this was what I used to create a scrapbook layout, which I'll get to in my big stack, but there was a process video for that. I didn't show how I made the cards, but I showed how I took this sketch and turned it into a scrapbook layout. So I got two cards done. This one has a process video. It was me using frames as a background, inspired by something that I saw in the Paper Issues Friends and Fans Facebook group back in April, I believe. So there's one. I finally finished the photos from our April spring break trip in 2022. These were from the Harry Potter exhibit that we went to in Atlanta. And these were the last three photos that I needed to get done. So I decided to do a sort of grid layout with them, and then using some cut apart pieces, some 3x4 pieces, and kind of just throwing in some random embellishments. I'd actually already had the background and the candles put together. I think I was trying to make another layout, and I don't know, I just stopped. And so I just said, you know what, that's already there, so I'm going to use that. I'm just going to add to it. So the cardstock is from a Recollections paper pad, the perfect maroon color to go with the sort of maroon red in the Harry Potter collection. And then I just, layered everything else on top. So there's two. This one and the one underneath it are very interesting because I created these layouts without photos like months and months and months ago. And I finally, when I got my May, what month are these? When I got these photos, I think these are June photos, when I got them printed these are last year. I went through them and I said, okay, what photos might go with some of these pre-designed layouts that I created? So I chose these four photos of my daughter with her cousin. So it's actually two 4x6s, and then these two were also 4x6s, but I cut them down to 3x4 so that they could go together and still fit within this vertical line. And then everything else just was there. The embellishments were already there. Everything was lined up and ready to go. I just had to put the photos in. Same thing with this one. I made this. I had no idea what photos I was going to use with it, but I just saved it. I made a little journaling spot that I decided I was going to fill in once I got the photos. It's very simple. I have a feeling this was based on something that Chamel did. But it's, if you have the pieces, but you don't have the photos, you can still create layouts, and something like this is really easy, especially because there's not a lot of embellishments going on top of the photos. So like you didn't have to peel anything up or off or whatever. The title can go with anything. It's very general. It's just a very easy design and a fun way to get some scrapbooking done, even if you don't have the photos to do it. All right, this was the monthly pocket page. I think there was a process video for this one. I don't actually remember. But I did my monthly pocket page in kind of the same way, using the 4x6 pockets in the top and bottom, and then the 4x4s going all the way across. And some of the photos are cut down to different sizes. So this one's really small. I cut that down a lot. Cut this one down to 4x4. So that was a fun one. This is another one. It does not have a process video, and I want to say, I think I just made it on my own. I don't know if this was based on a Chamel or anything. But these are just two photos from a carnival that we went to last summer. My daughter going down the big slide. This is actually in July. Some of my photos, when I printed them or when I put them into Shutterfly albums, I got a little confused as to the dates. So I randomly have these July 1st photos in with my June ones, but it's no big deal. That's why I go back through my photos on my phone to check the dates for things. And I don't delete them until after I've already scrapped them. And don't worry if you're like, you delete your photos from your phone. Yes, because I don't have enough storage on my phone, but I do store them over on Shutterfly. So, because that's where that's where I've been printing my photos. Then they still have, if you order through the app, you can still get 4x4s and 4x6s for free. You just pay for the shipping. This one has a process video, so if you haven't seen it yet, there is a video for it. It was for a Mix It Up Monday challenge. This is another one that has mixed media, but it wasn't for a challenge. I think this was based on a Chamel. So we've got a single photo here that I cut down so I could have some matting behind it. Two cut aparts. I liked the eraser because it seemed very schoolish to me. And this was a photo taken on my daughter's last day of school. I did apple stencils in 2 different colors of ink, basically because apples remind me of school as well. So this is one of the first pages that I made using the items from my May haul. So that was really fun. This one, oh my gosh, I think this one I did for a scrap room challenge. It was either a sketch, or I think it was a sketch challenge over at the Scrap Room. They have a bunch of different challenges going on throughout the entire month, and I was trying to do as many of them as I could. So these are 3 photos of me at last year's Nourished Festival, which used to be called the Gluten-Free Expo. I don't know if they're doing these in-person events anymore. The last one they had was in October in Chicago, and I expected there to be another one for, spring, early summer, around the same time frame as this one here in New Jersey, where they always have had it, and there's nothing on the calendar. So I don't know if there's going to be another one, but I will definitely let you know if I hear anything from Nourished Festival about if they're just doing virtual ones or if they're still doing in-person ones, and if they're still doing them in New Jersey, because you can see I got a lot of fun stuff. And I got there's a lot of cool products that maybe you can't find in stores that you can find there. There's always coupons and stuff. So yeah, I hope they bring it back. This one, I used a Bella Boulevard cut apart. It says learn and play. And yes, I did, because I didn't have a thin glue. I used, you can kind of see it kind of dried a little funny, but I used a glue stick. Whatever. But then I just cut these into little squares and did a grid design. And this was also based on something, I don't remember where I saw it. It could have been a scrap room one, but I don't think I did a process video for this. But it was really fun to put together, especially with the big title. All right, so this is one that is this was definitely a Scrap Room Freaky Fast formula challenge. So I cut the papers according to the size that the challenge required. There's a circle piece and some strips. This was, I don't remember what size any of them were, but then I added a 4x6 photo and then the bookmark that my daughter designed, and that was chosen for the summer reading program bookmark challenge. So everybody could go to the library. You can see here there were 3 different bookmark designs for 3 different age groups, and so hers was chosen last year, which is pretty cool. I don't think hers will be chosen this year. I mean, she did it last year, so they're probably trying to let other people have a chance, but her design for this year was really good. I did take a picture of it just so that we would have it, and I'll add that to my scrapbook when the time comes, when I get there. All right, these are photos from the end of the year celebration from last school year. And so I've got some photos of my daughter holding up her certificate and then with her friends. And this one was pretty easy to put together. You can see it doesn't take a whole lot. There were 2 different pattern papers. I've got some washi tape going up and down the sides, a little bit of an embellishment cluster here, here, and here. And that's kind of it. Super easy. This one was based on this layout here from the, I don't know what Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine it was. Could have been the most recent one. But I really liked this design here with this layout that Wendy Sue Anderson did based on this page map sketch. So this is my take on it, and I did it a little bit differently. So instead of having 1 big photo, I did 2 small photos, but then I did do the other photos in a line like this with something else sticking up on top. So you'll see this is one side, and these were taken at somebody's roller skating birthday party last year. So because my kid had just gotten her wrist brace off after fracturing her wrist, we went out and bought all the skating gear, helmet, matching elbow pads, wrist guards, which I think are super important, elbow pads. She had a skate aid. I wish that they would allow kids to use these skate aids during an open skate, or at least offer lessons, because without this, she was like totally lost. But we can't go to an open skate session because you're not allowed to use those. And there's going to be so many people there. I think it's just going to be super overwhelming. So if anyone has a lead on roller skating lessons anywhere, let me know. This is another one that's inspired by a Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine layout. I was trying to really go back through some of the pages that I had dog-eared and try to get some inspiration and really get through those. So this is obviously a Disney layout by Carla Dower. I did one for Legoland in New York. So I've got strips of paper on the top and the bottom to kind of frame it. And instead of doing it this way, as Carla did, I flipped it because my photos are all horizontal. So I did have to cut them down. This one and this one got cut down quite a bit. But what's fun about this is that as going through my embellishment stash, I happened to find these Lego bricks in an Echo Park boy collection. And I was like, these are perfect. I'm totally going to add these. And then a couple, enamel dots, just generic cameras, generic words, like things that could go with anything. This is a design that you could create, even if you don't have the photos, you could still put it together and just use very generic phrases and embellishments and stickers and that kind of thing. So this is sort of the first page for our Legoland adventure that we had one day. This is one that, I don't know, might be a Chamel inspired design, but we've got some cut aparts here. We've got some random, pieces of scrap paper that I cut into borders. This was part of a doodle bug journaling spot. I just kind of brought it all the way down to the bottom here, added in some extra stickers and stuff, made a big title. It says I love Ed because these were pictures taken from an Ed Sheeran concert in New Jersey last summer. Here's another one with my daughter and her cousins. Very easy to put together because we've got 2 4x6 photos here and then a 4x6 spot in the middle. So if you had a larger vertical, or you could do it horizontal too, but if you had a 4x6 cut apart, you could easily do it there. I did not. So I have this as the background. The butterflies are in the center, and then this is popped up on foam dots just to make it stand out a little bit more. And then going along the diagonal, we've got something down here at the bottom and going all the way up at the top. And I really let this be the title as opposed to trying to add something else to it. So, if you don't have a piece like this in the middle that you can use as the title, just use alpha stickers and make the title there. This one has a process video because it was for last month's Off the Board challenge. So this was based on the second scrapbook pin that is in my Scrapbook and Cards Pinterest board. So that was a fun one. This is my take on, you can see the similarities here between the May sheetload of cards and turning it into a scrapbook layout. That was a fun one to do. No process video for this one, but very easy, using a 4x6 photo, cutting 2 other 4x6 photos down to size, putting them together, matting them, adding a few extra paper strips. I've got my journaling here and here because it was kind of a long story, and then just adding in some extra like baseball pieces from my stash. This one, I don't think I did a process video for this one. Maybe I did. Now I don't remember. But this, using up random bits from my stash. So a lot of the things that you're going to see, a lot of the other layouts that you're going to see are just using random embellishments, random pieces of paper, and it's all about just kind of layering things together. So these two were horizontal and this was vertical. So I cut these down a lot and then cut this one down a lot. So they're all 3x4, but they've got some matting around them. So these two have the same cardstock matting. This one has a different one and it's popped up on foam dots to give it some dimension. And then I've just kind of got a lot of layered pieces up behind it in terms of embellishments and pattern paper. And of course I did some splatters with 2 colors of Tim Holtz Distress Oxide spray. Here's another 2-pager that I did. So this is the first side. And this is actually based on, let me see if I can find it. I have this little notebook. And when I was bored at work, when I used to work in the office, this is years old, I would go on scrapbook.com and sketch out different sketches or layouts that I saw. And so this, oh, here it is. This is based on a Sketchy Thursdays sketch from May 20th. I have no idea what year, but you can see I've got one photo here. I didn't divide this photo across the pages, but I did use 2 photos here. And then instead of a big one, I used just 2 photos to kind of make a bigger piece over here. So hopefully you can see the similarities with this. And these are photos, somebody else took these photos of my daughter at field day last year. All right, this one uses up items from my stash. So these are pictures from my Girl Scout troops bridging ceremony last year. And because bridging, there's a whole rainbow theme with it, I used rainbow colored cardstock and pattern papers. So you can see that it goes all the way across the page, a whole rainbow here, and then there's some rainbow pattern paper there at the end. And I just brought this is inspired by, let's see if I can find it, another thing that I sketched out here in this book, and it kind of just makes like a big L on each side. So this side is a backwards L, and this side is a regular L, and they just kind of meet in the middle. And if I can find it in here, I will tell you who inspired this. What I like about this layout is that there's not a whole lot of embellishments, but that's okay because there are tons of photos. But it's these little stickers here and over here. My daughter got them as part of her cookie rewards, and she didn't use all of them. So I said, hey, I'm going to use them on a scrapbook layout. So yeah, it's sort of based, I think it's this one. This is on Our Favorite Beach by Kristen 622. So it's probably from scrapbook.com, but you can kind of see how this goes all the way up to the top and then kind of comes to the middle, and then there's still some going over here. So I didn't do it exactly, but this was definitely what inspired the overall design. And again, just pieces of colored cardstock from my stash on black. It's super easy. All right, so we have another 2-page layout, and this one goes like this. And if I can figure out, I think this was another one that came from it. I still have to do some journaling here just to figure out what some of these ride titles were. But with this one, what was fun is that I used some Disney pieces. So this is not a Disney layout. It's a layout for Dorney Park, which is in Pennsylvania. But I used items from my Disney embellishment stash because it's still like amusement park, you know, the ride tickets and everything. So I thought that was a pretty good use of my resources. I have no idea if I can figure it out. I don't know. I have no idea what inspired this, but I liked bringing these across and then having kind of a cluster here, and then these here with the title in the center. I thought that was pretty nice. This one has a process video. It's got a big heart in the background. I hand drew it, you know, and you're going to see this. Actually, this process video I don't think has gone live yet, so this is a sneak peek. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to give you any more information about that. So speaking of using up random pieces of pattern paper from my stash, this is all just layered up behind these 2 photos, which are 3x4. I cut this one into 3x4 as well, and because it's a different orientation, I put it down here at the bottom. So we've got a big section up here, and then going down to on the diagonal, we have a smaller section. Again, using random pieces from my stash. My daughter's driving a car. These car pieces were from that Echo Park Boy collection. So was this Zoom sticker. I made this title using 3 different alpha stickers and then splattered some Tim Holtz Distress Oxide spray on the background just to give it a little bit more something. Here's another 2-page layout from our trip to Legoland. So this one is also inspired by something in here. I should have marked it. But I liked this one so much. I didn't do a process video for it, but I liked the design so much that you're going to see it again in a second and in a process video that's going to be coming up on the channel. So I just grabbed 2 solid color pieces of cardstock, and I have 3 4x4 photos on either side. This is symmetrical, so it's very easy. In here, you could do 4 like 3.5x5 photos, or as you can see, I only had 3, and then this is where I did my journaling. You could put a cut apart here or whatever you want. There were spaces for other photos, so everywhere you see a circle, those were supposed to be photos. So if you have a lot of photos, this one is going to be super amazing to help you finish that out. And I know it's somewhere in here, and maybe in the process video I can go back and I'll tell you who inspired this design, because this is the one that you're going to see the process video for. So just real quick, same type of thing, but did it a different way. And I'll talk more about that when the process video goes live. And this is also sort of a sneak peek because it's for this month's challenge theme at Challenge Yourself. So take a look at this. Let me know if you can figure out what the theme for it is before it goes live on June 7th. And leave your ideas down in the comments below. What do you think this month's Challenge Yourself theme is going to be? Obviously, you have to have yourself in the photo, but what do you think the theme will be? So that's a lot of layouts. I'm not even going to go back and count them because this video was is already super long. But thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end, and I hope that you have a really great and scrappy and crafty and inspiring and productive month in your craft room. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.